The Energized Show, up the Irish.
Okay, what's going on, guys? And welcome to a brand new episode of Energized, brought to you by Or Kings Competitions. Ross,
are you intoxicated or something?
Introduce the guest, man.
Today we have the one and only undefeated phenom, fresh back from the land of the Oz. It's the one and only Max Lally. Max, how are you? How was Australia?
Oh, it was great, boys. Happy to be home and happy to be on with the Energized boys. As always, get up.
Get up is right. Tell
Welcome
us this,
home,
Max. How did it go training with the new featherweight champion of the world, Alexander Volkanovski, the Great? How did that come about?
Oh, it kind of came out a little bit out of nowhere, to be honest, lads. Obviously I had a little move around with him for his first fight with Islam, the first time I was over in Thailand. But I suppose kind of in the right place at the right time. Kind of got asked by the lads out of Bangtao, the coaches out of Bangtao, Frank, Alex, all the lads just kind of got invited in to help them do a cardio session, and then the cardio sessions turned into sparring sessions, and we kind of got good training in with them for I think it was a good 10 to 14 days, kind of in and around that area, and then what we did was he left. And then I kind of just got a message off the wrestling coach, Frank, saying, would I be interested in helping him finish up camp back in old Windang in Australia? I jumped on the opportunity, and that's how I ended up getting over, yeah.
And obviously, like, we've seen some of the footage being put out by Volkanovski and his team, and like it looks class. Like the edits are brilliant on it. So when you were, I think it was at the stage you're in Thailand as well. Aljamain Sterling was there as well. Did you get a roll around with him as well?
Yes, I got a little bit of moving around with him. With El Aljo, nice guy. But it was really cool, like, you know, just to be around that environment. You had Zhang Wei Li there too. She was getting ready for a fight against Tatiana Suarez. So like it's a mad one. Like you kind of just you know you just get lucky, I suppose, where you are. But I think in the space of 3 months, I managed to be looking and training with a lot of UFC fighters and a few UFC champions. You know, and you don't get that opportunity too often. So you know, just try to be as much of a sponge as possible, soak in all the knowledge from them guys. They obviously have a lot of wealth of experience, and just trying to, you know, getting to train with them is a privilege, but also getting to learn from them, that's the biggest privilege you can get, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Like some world-class fighters there, and we saw Jack Della Maddalena was also over there. He's fighting for the welterweight strap soon against Bilal as well. So like, it's incredible to see yourself over there. Even like, you know, from the snippets that we saw, you know what I mean? Like, you on Volk's back, you know what I mean? Try to lock in that rear naked choke.
I'll just put that out there. I'll put that out there. That was during a cardio session, boys. Not easy to get to that cunt's back, you know. Not easy to get to his back.
Was that a positional? Was it?
Yeah, that was positional. We'll just put that out there.
But, so you're not saying you are the UFC featherweight champion now, no?
Not a chance, boys. Far from it.
No, it's a nice shot for you to get. You know, they could have showed a different part of the video, but that's the video we saw. No, but incredible to see. I suppose, you know, you speak to a lot of coaches across the world, and they say, like, you know, there's no magic place or there's no magic formula. You know what I mean? A lot of the top coaches will show a lot of the same techniques. Obviously, there's maybe different aspects, but one thing I am interested in is, what's the work rate like from someone like Volkanovski, who obviously has a gas tank for days, and obviously he's like the champion of the world, you know, second-time champion. I mean, he's 36. He's broken that, like, sort of, you can't win a world title under 170 pounds over 35. He's gone and done it now. Like, what's it like seeing his work ethic?
His work ethic is, like, especially for where he is in his career, is admirable, and it's no longer he strikes me as a guy that, obviously, everyone is motivated by money, but that camp, it didn't seem to be about that. The only thing he spoke about and the only thing he cared about the entirety of that camp was getting that belt back to Australia. And also, you know, like to see his mindset and, you know, how hard he works, and then also being able to work as hard as him and be alongside him, you know what I mean, while he's putting in that work was really, it was a huge learning curve for myself, you know.
Mm.
Obviously it was you get to just kind of compare it to what you do back home, and it was really eye opening, you know. That freestyle gym, you know, in Windang in Australia. They have a great stable of fighters as well, so I wasn't just getting hard rounds off Volk. I was getting hard rounds off all of them. Majority of them are featherweights and bantamweights as well. Like, so it was a really, you know, great experience. But just, you know, getting to be around Volk as well, like, I can't even put into words how much of a sound lad he is as well. Like,
Mm.
he in my time over there, he kind of, he felt like more of a, maybe like a friend than like a, I don't know, like a big star. And that's how he puts himself across, you know. He really looked after me and the lads super well in regards to, he sorted accommodation, flights, looked after food, everything like that, made sure we were well looked after. And in return, we just tried to give him the best training and best looks for Lopez possible, you know. So it was great to be over there, and it was a huge it was a great experience for myself just to be part of a winning kind of UFC championship title kind of camp, you know.
And if he's going in against Elevev or Mosavar Elevov or whatever way you say his name next, is that something that you know, if he asks to come back, would you go back for another camp with him?
100%. Yeah, 100% I would. You know, the training over there was I really enjoyed it, you know. How they train, how hard they train, and like it's just it's like as you said, there's no secret kind of formula to it.
Mm.
Like it's just graft, like it's just
Mm.
it's your usual, and you're just putting yourself, you know, past the limits like most kind of professional athletes do, you know.
Mm.
But yeah, no, I'd go back over. I go back over to Australia for a camp for Mozart. I do it in a heartbeat. You know,
Mm.
um, just you know, everyone involved in the camp is a great atmosphere, great people, and also great training. You know what I mean? So when you're in a camp, you can't really ask for much better than that. You know.
Yeah, and how cool was it to see Max Lally's mate win a UFC world title?
Man, I was, you know, I have to say during the fight, I think I lost about 10, 15 years off me life looking at that end of the second and the fourth round, you know. But how he kept his composure and just executed his game plan,
Mm.
you know, on the feet. Brad Riddell has a lot to do with that, you know.
Mm.
An unbelievable striking coach, and he outstruck him, you know, beat him to the punch every time almost, you know. And to be able to do that against a guy like Lopez for 5 rounds, it's not an easy thing to do, and he did it flawlessly, you know what I mean? So I was over the moon, you know, like fucking I really was rooting for him, you know, especially kind of. I almost find watching someone like you've been with or you know fight is almost worse than fighting, if that makes sense. I
Mm.
get more nervous watching the fights, you know, than I would be fighting myself, you know. So, it was great to see him get the win, you know, and definitely solidify himself as one of the best featherweights of all time. There's no kind of no doubting him now about that, you know. There's not too many people that can face the adversity that he's faced and come back the way he did, you know. So yeah, man, I'm over the moon for him.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
yeah,
What was
Max, do you think Volk will be nervous watching you compete on the 26th of April at Cage Warriors 188 Dublin?
I thought we'll see. I don't know. I say he's taking a long, a well needed time away from social media and stuff like that. But I've no doubt. You know, he was really good to me. You know, when I was in camp, he was letting me do the cardio sessions and stuff alongside him, and also like just the atmosphere of, you know, the boys are just helping you and you know, like motivating you to keep going and stuff like that. You know, but. I'm really looking forward to the fight on 26th of April, me
mm.
Cage Warriors debut, and yeah, now I'm just, I feel like, as you said, boys, I feel like it's the best. I say it every fight that I fight in, it's the best I've ever felt. You know what I mean? But like, I really do feel like a lot of improvements have been made, and just looking to go in and make a statement. You know, like simple as that. Nothing really too deep. Show how better I've gotten over the last year, and just kind of getting in there and doing my thing, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? I'm surprised no one's actually called this fight Maximus versus Zeus, because Alexis' nickname is Zeus. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Two of the gods going toe to toe. April 26th. This is going to be a massive fight. This has been a long time coming. It was a while ago since you fought on Cage Warriors, but obviously you were off in Thailand, training away, and then you're obviously off with Volk, and they wanted to save Maximus Lally for the Dublin card. Now that we're nearly a week out, tell us what's the excitement like? You know what I mean? What's the buzz like around? And was it hard to come back to Ireland and sort of slip right into camp? I know you sort of almost done a pre-camp, but
Yeah, like it wasn't really like, it's just like the only difference when I go into camp is the intensity goes up. To be honest, I find myself training more out of camp than I would be training in camp. Just the intensity goes up, you know what I mean? So it's like I don't think this isn't a sport where you know train for camps or whatever like that. You do it 24/7 and that's it. You know what I mean? It's that simple. You know, time on the mats matters. You know, that all that kind of stuff. It all adds up. You know what I mean? So like slipping back into camp, it wasn't an issue. I think I landed on the Friday evening. I done a little light session and just continued me routine. Tried to adapt a few things that I was doing over in Australia. But obviously this week, you know, I kind of had me. I kind of have a tough cardio session now this evening. I do me lactic tomorrow morning, and that'll kind of be me tapering down phase then, and kind of go into getting the weight down and stuff like that, you know. So to be honest, it's the best I've ever felt, you know what I mean? So may the best man win April 26th, you know what I mean?
yeah, absolutely. And I suppose one thing that we touched on when you signed, you want to fight in the bantamweight division. This one's at featherweight. Is
Yes.
bantamweight still a goal or not, or what's the thoughts?
I'll tell you what, I did a vlog over in Thailand. I don't think a lot of people seen it, but I spoke about the cut down to 135, and to be honest, lads, I wasn't like, I probably wasn't far off making it, but from the weight that I needed to get down to, I needed to get down to about at least 67.5 kilos, and a lot of my traits and attributes that I have at maybe 145, you know, they just weren't really there at 135. Like, I suppose when you're bigger in a weight, you know, you kind of, there's a few attributes that go. So like me pace wasn't the same. Me kind of how I'd usually fight, or how I'd go in and fight, was almost like a strategic kind of change, trying to conserve a bit of energy and stuff like that. Another thing that was happening to me loads was I kept getting sick, getting staph infections, ringworm infections. I think because my body fat was like so low, and I'd never back home, I'd never struggle with infections or skin infections or anything like that. So I kind of decided it wasn't the best move for myself. So I said I would just fill out a little bit, put on a bit of size for 145, and just stay there. I'm a person that, you know, I'll always try to do the thing that is right. You know,
Of
always
course.
try to do the best thing for myself. I thought that move was the right move. I wouldn't want to fight in Cage Warriors and question if I can make the weight or not. You know what I mean? I wanted to 100% make sure if it was for me or not. Obviously it wasn't meant to be. Ian Dean and the guys in Cage Warriors were super accommodating to it, and they didn't really matter to them. They just kind of want to see me fight, and like that, they got me a match at 145. So fair play to them. You know, I'll always try to be a professional as much as possible. I'll never go into a fight and like miss weight or anything like that. You know what I mean? So I did the kind of simulation cut, you know, just before the new year last year and stuff like that, and it just wasn't really meant to be. So here I am now at staying at 145, you know.
Yeah, big time, man. And like, I suppose this card is all about the featherweight division, really. Like, obviously,
It
James
is.
Sheen's fighting for the world title, and James Webb's defending his world title. Defending his world title. Like, obviously, that's the main and co-main event. But, geez, I think there's 6 or 7 fights on this card at featherweight. So, like,
Yeah.
it's massive for the division. And I know you're a massive fan of the sport as well. You watch them all. Which of the featherweight fights, bar your own, are you looking forward to seeing?
I think to be honest, lads, all of them. Keith Keogh has a good fight against Joe Doyle.
Yeah.
Joe I think he's friendly with kind of Jay Council and all them.
Yeah.
He has a lot of toy fights, a lot of experience in the stand up. So I suppose for Keith it's a good fight for him, you know what I mean?
Mm.
A tough fight for him. And then you have Saul against that I'll probably
Jorge.
butcher his name, Jorge. That's a good kind of step up for Saul as well. He had a good performance against the Italian Walter out of
Yeah.
SBG in his last one, you know what I mean? So that's a big one. But like obviously in the ideal situation, you know, we get to fight and watch all these fights, because usually what happens is if like I'm higher up on the card, I'm just, you know, doing me thing, getting in the zone
Mm.
and stuff like that, you know. But even if I missed them, there'd be no doubt I'd be going back on UFC Fight Pass and giving them all a watch, you know what I mean? But the featherweight division in Cage Warriors, it's stacked. You know what I mean? It's
Mm.
stacked. It's a high level weight class to be competing in. You know, so obviously,
Yep.
you know, you have to respect skill and talent. This is the step up now. This is the bigger leagues for myself, and
Big time.
obviously, I'm trying to solidify myself among all the greats. You know what I mean? So that's I'll always be kind of studying, always be watching, always
Mm.
be, you know, keeping my eye on everyone, you know. So we'll see how this fight goes the weekend, and then, you know, obviously it'd be great if I could get maybe definitely another two in after this year.
Mm.
That'd obviously be the ideal plan, but we'll see what the crack is, you know.
Yeah, big time, big time. I think Ryan Shelley's looking for a last minute replacement as
Oh
well at
yes,
heavyweight. So
he's fighting. Did his guy pull out?
yeah, his guy pulled out. Don't know
Ah,
if that's common knowledge, but he did. It is now.
yeah, no, it is now. Because your man, he was fighting he's fought Bellator a few times, and
Mhm.
like I think I remember him. He fought Smullen
Mm.
in Bellator a while ago, and it was a real kind of 50-50 fight. But your man that Shelley was fighting ended up getting the nod, you know. But
Yeah.
that was a good fight. I forgot about Ryan. He's a lovely fella as well. I've
Mm.
met him a few times in the L Portmarnock saunas. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Know yourself, boys. Know yourself.
Max, obviously when you signed with Cage Warriors, there was a lot of people like that were just over the moon to see you like sign, and they look forward to seeing you put on the yellow gloves. Like in the build up to this fight now, what sort of the reaction being like, and like how excited are you to get into the cage on the 26th and like put on a show in the RDS?
Oh man, like I've just to be honest, lads, I wish the fight was tomorrow. Honestly, I wish the fight was tomorrow. I feel like waiting is almost the hard part. You know what I mean? But like that, I'm just coming in. I'm looking to make a statement. It's all well fighting on these smaller shows, but like this is the big shows. This is the fight that I'm looking to put the exclamation
Mm.
mark on now. Like, you know what I mean? So just obviously have to wait a few days, you know what I mean? But obviously the 26th is gonna come around very quickly. Obviously gonna have to kind of have the weight cut and stuff like that before, but I am 110% ready. You know what I mean? This is, I say it all the time, but this is the best version of myself.
Mm.
Coming up to this fight, I've left absolutely no stones unturned, and just like that, made the best man win April 26th, because you know I'm just coming in and I'm looking to make a statement and let all the kind of featherweight roster and everyone else know who I am. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Max, this will also be the first time in a while where you haven't been main event Max. Might be relegated to the main card, so you'll get to watch one or two fights after as well.
Ah, no, that's sick. No, that's what I mean. I'm really looking forward to the main event though with James and Justin Burlinson. That's a great
Yeah.
fight. Obviously, if
Yeah.
James Webb fighting as well. But
Yeah,
it's
like we
lads.
could see the last two times, like the winner of that, and if James Webb wins, like they could both be off the UFC
Oh,
without a shadow of a
definitely.
doubt.
100%, 100%. It's a big fight for them.
Mm.
It's I tell you what, I'll tell you one thing though. It's like this is how I personally feel about this Cage Warriors card, but it's like it reminds me of one of the Bama cards back in the day. Like, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like all the prospects and all the up and comers all on the same card. You know, I feel like
Mm.
this is definitely one of the best fighting cards put on in Ireland in most recent years. You know, and
Yeah.
Cage Warriors have done an absolutely amazing job with it. You know, so if anything, this card had really put Irish MMA on the map for a lot of people to see. It's a
Mm.
high level card, you know. So that's what it reminds me of though. You know, the old Bama cards back in the day used to kind of
Yeah.
have all the kind of prospects coming up and stuff like that. But now we're all on the same card again, you know. So it's gonna be obviously great to be a part of it. But I'm obviously looking to try get a exclamation point finish, and Troy steal the show. It's gonna be a hard show to steal with all the talent on it, but you know yourself, boys.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%. I think
Hopefully,
if you,
hopefully Conor McCarthy gets on the card as well after his opponent pulled out.
No, 100%. I've no doubt if anyone can pull something out of the bag. He used to be Dollar Deck, but now it's Ian Dean, so I know he'll pull something out of the bag for him.
Yeah.
Connor got a bit of his training camp in with me over in Thailand. We got some really, really good training in with some high level guys and stuff like that. So obviously, it's a big night. It's pretty cool as well. Me and Connor made our amateur debuts together. On who you were back in the day, you know, and we've kind of had a very, very similar journey, you know what I mean? So it's cool to kind of be on the same path as him again, you know.
Yeah, what's called on half a Klein has already bought half the tickets, so they need to keep him in the card.
The L Klein Ashbourne collaboration, boys.
Yeah.
It's
No, I love it. We see them at the cage legacies.
unbelievable.
The two rowdiest groups of fans you'll ever see. But yeah, no, it's gonna be. I think it, as you touched on there, I think it's gonna be one of those cards that if there are tickets left, you should definitely get them. And I'm not just saying that because
Definitely.
you're here, but if you really think about it, this is one that people are going to look back at in 3 or 4 years' time and go, oh, they were on, Max Lally was on that card, Paddy McCarty was on that card, James Sheen was on that card, Conor McCarthy, Kiko, the list will go on and be like, oh, look where they are now. They all, J.R. Harris, they all fought on this card. And now look where they are now. Like, you know what I mean? That's what this card
That's another
like.
fight I forgot about. Matthew Elliott against Kenny Makahana. That's a great fight as well. An all Irish clash.
Yeah.
Alex O'Sullivan against Dara Torman.
Yeah.
Tobin. That's a great one. That's a great one as well. Like there's a lot of Eamon Darcy on the card as well. That's it's really it's a great card, you know what I mean? So
don't forget the plank, Adam Darby.
Adam Darby, can't forget about Adam, man.
Who else is fighting on the card, lads?
Jamie Abbott.
Jamie Abbott as well. Jamie Abbott as well.
Scott Harvey against Leon Arms
Scott
as well.
Harvey against Leon. Fuck,
that's
a
great fight.
Fights on that, lads. That's a great fight as well. That's a really, really good fight, you know.
2 undefeated prospects.
And then Chasing Paper Blair is also on the card, who we've never mentioned once because he's the only non-Irish fight on the card.
Belter. Fucking Belter.
Who's going to be there?
Yeah.
Your whole family's going to be there. Shout out to Yup the Lallies.
Yeah, Yup the Lallies. Yup Christian, everyone's favourite.
Yup Christian. Well, tell you what, boys, I've kind of transferred it to Irish boys. The old Yup the Lallies. I've transferred it. Mulalik Abu. So my second name in Irish is Mulalik. So Lally Mulalik. So Mulalik Abu. That's what I keep saying at the moment. Trying to get the old Gael.
Mulalik Abu. We'll be on it. Also, actually, Kieran Brady's on the card as well. So
he's fighting that. He's fighting the French geezer.
Yeah, Giovanni.
Top team. Yeah, that's a
Hernandez.
Good. That's a good
I want to see Conor McCarthy, Kieran Brady have a dance off. That's what I want to see.
They say Conor do him.
Who's the real hot stepper? Who's the real hot stepper?
The real hot stepper. Conor has a bleeding set of hips on him like Shakira, not a bother on him.
Will the real hot stepper please stand up?
Kieran's coming off another great win as well against Georgie Grozov as well.
Yeah, that was a big win. Yeah. And tell you what, boys, the best thing about that fight is that it was on Irish soil and an Irish card. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's the best thing. That's the best thing about it. You know what I mean? Georgie's a great prospect coming out of Paddy's. Obviously, Kieran's a great prospect as well coming against Team Torres. But it's like those are great fights to be making at amateur and early pro, like, you know what I mean? Because it's good. We have serious amounts of talent in the country, you know what I mean? So obviously it's great to be able to see fights like that on Irish style and you know, great fight.
Yeah. No, your fighting championship is always great, and Decky McLean does a great job as well. He
always puts a great card on and great fights. You know what I mean? He always puts great fights on.
I think the issue with the last fight you were on with Cage Legacy was the fact the stream didn't work. So then when we're trying to watch the biggest prospects coming out around yourself, Conor McCarthy, Kiko, like when the stream doesn't work, or it's like you're missing out on something. Like you're missing out on like your finishes and your potential virality of the win and all the stuff that comes with that. Like, you know what I mean? But like, that's why Cage Warriors do it unbelievably well.
Yeah, they do it super well. They do it super well.
In fairness, like it's a different budget, Cage Warriors versus any of the other shows.
Definitely. And in fairness,
well, like,
I'll say one thing about Deco Kennett. He fucking made you with what he had. You know what I mean?
Oh,
There was
stop,
a lot-
easy.
There was a lot of times. There was a lot of times where, you know, obviously I was unfortunate with pullouts, and he would get someone in no matter who they were. Me and Connor had pullouts on fight week. He still managed to come through and have us
no,
both fighting on the card.
he's a hustler.
He's a
Oh, no,
a lot of
I'm not blaming-
admiration for him.
I'm not
Yeah.
blaming Deck for the link because obviously
no,
like,
no,
he-
no,
he did someone
100%.
else's. Yeah,
No,
but
in fairness,
it's just like-
he paid someone to do a bad job.
yeah, no, that's
100%, boys. 100%.
yeah, but I mean, it's just
You don't have them problems on UFC Fight Pass anyway, so that's the good thing.
No. But Max, we're absolutely buzzing to see you in action come April 26th. It's going to be an absolute banger. It's always a pleasure to talk to you as well. Mulakaboo, is that how you say it?
Malalakaboo.
Malalakaboo.
That's it, boys.
Yeah,
Get
you
up.
have to get the spelling to us of that afterwards. You know what I mean? I'll put a hashtag on it and all. But man, absolutely going to be an absolute incredible night in the RDS. Buzz and see yourself. Get your hand raised on the Cage Warriors debut, and the featherweight division is going to have some shake up come April 26th.
100%, lads. 100%. Really looking forward to it.
Yeah, Max, can you, before we just wrap things up, is there anything else you want to say to the people that are going to be seeing you wear the Cage Warriors yellow gloves for the first time on April 26th, live on UFC Fight Pass if you cannot get a ticket?
So obviously, guys, there's a few tickets left. I have a link in my bio on my Instagram. For anyone that's looking to head over to the show, all general tickets are sold out, so there's only a few of the cage side ones left. Every ticket that is bought through my link, I get a small cut of it. So obviously, it'd be really appreciated if you get the tickets out of the link. If for whatever reason you aren't able to make it, you know, subscribe to UFC Fight Pass and watch a great night of fights. You know what I mean? So obviously, guys, thanks for having me on as always. Really appreciate it, and just looking forward to getting stuck in next Saturday. You know.
You're the man, Max.
Cheers,
All the best.
Legend, Max.
boys.
All the best.
See you energized. Get up.
The Energized Show, up the Irish.
So Ross, that was Maximus Lally, your favorite Lally, man.
Yeah, absolute legend. Great to have Max back on the show. Jesus, he must be one of the most on-air guests that Energized ever had. Love to have him on. Always great chat. Won't tell you what he said off camera, but some frighteningly good stories of him over in Oz. I'm sure he'll tell them one day. I was going to say Cage Warriors 188. We're going to go through the entire card now, Baz, aren't we?
Yeah, so the thing is, we are here every week. So make sure to like and subscribe, and make sure to check us out on Instagram as well, as we promote Irish MMA, as we always do every day, Ross.
It's every day, bro. So we're going to have a look at the Cage Warriors 188 Dublin card now, and we're going to start off with the first fight of the night, according to the Cage Warriors website. Jamie Ababissa, he hasn't fought in a year. He opened up the show in Dublin this time last year, and he's fighting Charlie Falcao. Charlie is 6-4. Jamie is 1-0. Jamie Ababissa is a seasoned veteran, though, on the amateur scene. And I'm going to say Jamie's going to get his hand raised. I think if the Jamie Ababissa shows up with full capabilities, and the one that showed up last year, I think he'll definitely get his hand raised.
Who do you think the bookie's favorite is in that one?
I think it would be Jamie, to be honest. I think if you take the amateur record into account and Charlie's amateur record into account, I think Jamie has more fights as an overall whole. So I'm going to say Jamie.
Yeah.
And then
You're very biased here, by the way.
Yeah, and then staying at flyweight, we have Emer Darcy's fighting Daniela Sanchez. This one is lined up, I think, for Emer Darcy to get the win. She looks like a phenomenal athlete, to say the least. Emer Darcy. She seems to lead a very clean lifestyle. She seems to be all about the fights, and she seems to have great power in her hands. And I expect her to get a TKO finish in this one, Basmo. What do you think?
Yeah, well, I think Emer training with the likes of Shauna Bannon and Kyle Sullivan and Nadine Ababissa, and the list goes on. Like, I think the way she's getting promoted as well, like for women's MMA in Ireland, she's definitely like on a trajectory to fight for a Cage Warriors world title as well. Now, who knows when that could happen, but she's coming off that win last time out in Dublin.
Yeah.
I think there is a lot of potential there. So, look, she's the only Irish female fighting on the card. So it's a big opportunity, and can't wait to see her perform. And shout out to Compound Martial Arts.
Yeah, absolutely. Chase and Blair is fighting Diego Visane on the show. I expect Chase and Blair to get a win there. But Adam Darby is coming home fresh from sunny California, taking on Thomas Langowski. I think last time out we saw Adam Darby, we saw one of those lovely standing guillotine chokes. I think Adam Darby is a top prospect, and I expect him to get the win. He's training over in MMA Fight Academy as well as Team Rhino back here in Ireland. So I think he is definitely someone to look out for. The lads who are fighting in that gym, MMA Fight Academy, seem to have a very good winning record. So I expect that to stay. Basman, what do you think?
Yeah, well, I have to back Adam because he's the fastest man in Team Rhino as well, man.
The Usain Bolt of Team Rhino.
Who's the slowest, Ross? Where are you, man?
I think Jamie Abbott-Bissett was coming last in those races. So he'll need to work on that.
Shout out Andy Ryan for that footage, man.
Yeah, shout out Andy Ryan for that footage. Then we move on to one of our many featherweight clashes, and we have back-to-back CMAC fights according to Cage Warriors. Hopefully that doesn't happen on the night. Keith Keogh was fighting Joe Doyle. Joe Doyle was like an unknown commodity really on the Irish MMA scene. All his fights have been over in the UK. Massive following. He's fighting out at 309. And Jay Council is looking after from this camp. And obviously Keith Keogh fighting out CMAC, one of the best Irish amateur records the country has ever seen. For me, I think Keith will probably try and take him down and get a submission early. I'd say he has a vast advantage on the ground, Basmo.
Yeah, well, look, Keith is like his background, his amateur background speaks for itself. Like the amount of times he's represented Ireland in the IMAFs. Like I think it was 15-1 as an amateur.
15-1. I think his only loss was a split as well.
Yeah. Now, if you're looking at the bookies' favorite, Keith is obviously the favorite. But this is the only all Dublin fight on the card as well. Like both lads only live a stone's throw away from each other. Like this one is going to have the crowd going absolutely nuts. Like when this fight is on, do not miss this one as well, because Joe's there to upset the apple cart as well, Ross.
Absolutely he is. I think it's going to be one definitely to look out for. Keith Keogh is very highly touted, and if Joe Doyle can manage to scalp him, that will put Joe Doyle's name in lights.
Yeah.
Another CMAC featherweight. Alex O'Sullivan fights Dara Toman out of Team Torres. This is a rematch, 9 years in the making. Alex O'Sullivan got his hand raised in the first outcome, so I would assume he'll be the favorite going into this one. Although he is stepping up a weight class of featherweight, so it will be interesting to see. This one is definitely one that the fans will be dying to see. There's multiple CMAC fighters on the card and multiple Team Torres fighters on the card, so we should see great crowd reaction to both these guys. They should be bringing a lot of support.
Yeah, Alex's record's 2-0, and Dara Tomans is 4-3. As you said, they fought before. Alex won. I'd say the bookies' favorite will be Alex as well.
Yeah. Conor McCarthy's fight is still on the Cage Warriors website. Hopefully he gets rebooked. Hopefully Ryan Shelley gets rebooked. Two phenomenal prospects. We would love to see them in those yellow gloves another time. Next up is Kieran Brady fighting Giovanni Fernandez. Kieran Brady is someone who I have to back. He is one who has, proved all the doubters wrong time and time again. He is coming off the biggest win of his career against Georgi Grozov. It was an absolutely thrilling fight, and I think Kieran Brady is on an absolute roll at the moment, Basman.
No, I'd agree. He previously fought on Cage Warriors as well, and then he went back to your fighting championship. Like that win against Georgi Grozov, because Georgie's coming off a couple of good wins as well. He won on Cage Warriors and he won on LFL. So the winner of this took it all, and that's why Kieran Brady's now fighting the big show in Dublin, Ross.
Absolutely. And looking at the next fight, we have another pair of featherweights, and both these men are training day in, day out with world champions. Scott Harvey obviously trains with Paul Hughes, who was a Cage Warriors featherweight champion, and Leon Arms trains with Harry Hardwick, the current featherweight champion of Cage Warriors, and also former lightweight champion George Hardwick. So this one looks to be a really, really high-level clash. Both men are undefeated. It's going to be very, very interesting to see who gets their arm raised. Scott Harvey has always looked really good in his fights. Leon Arms, a bit more active as of late. I think this one and probably the next one are probably as 50-50 clashes. Very typical Ian Dean, brilliant booking on this fight, Basman. What do you think?
Do you know what? This fight was one where I know we were talking about it when Max there. I didn't expect Max to go through the whole card now, but but like fair play to him because like that's what Max Lally does. But when we were talking about this fight, I was thinking the bookie's favorite, who would be for this? It's very, very close. And that's why Ian Dean's like, right, the winner of this gets that next push. Like, obviously, Leon Arms, as you said, has the Harwicks behind him. Scott Harvey is like the main training partner of Paul Hughes. He's also from FAI. Like, this next person gets that next big push. And that's why I'm 50-50 on it. I actually think probably Leon could be potentially the favorite because he's like been consistent and he's been fighting more regularly than Scott. But that's why it's up to Scott to make a big statement.
Yeah, absolutely. And talk about making big statements. Matthew Elliott, for the second time in his Cage Warriors career, is fighting a man from another Irish gym. He's fighting Kenny Mokonawana out of SBG. FAI versus SBG. This one has fans' mouth watering. I think it's sort of what on paper will be a battle of Matthew Elliott's wrestling versus Kenny Mokonawana's jiu-jitsu. Who will come out on top? I don't know. But this one, I think, is another one that could be 50-50. These two lads have a bit of bad blood as well. So I'm looking forward to this one. I think this one is one that will make the Irish crowd salivate. Also, just to round up the featherweight action, because we don't necessarily need to go over Max Lally's fight again. Solomon King Simon is on an absolute tear at featherweight. He could be in line for a number one contendership with a win here. He's fighting Christian Uyorga, who's coming off a decision loss to George Hardwick for the lightweight title. So Sol going out there, beating Christian Uyorga better than George Hardwick. It would be very hard for people to deny Solomon Simon a shot at Harry Hardwick for the featherweight belt, Basmo, wouldn't it?
Yeah, well, Saul finishes every fight undefeated in Cage Warriors. Like, he's on an absolute tear. Like, what can you like? You have to check out. Solomon is like, I think he's like, his background, his amateur background has stood to him like tremendously. Like, he looks so experienced in there. And I think, what is he, like 5-0, 6-0?
He's 5-0 now, I think.
Yeah, so like it just, he's an absolute animal. And
finish mania.
Yeah, like you had like.
Yeah. I know he's a buzzer beater as well. Like, I
think he's the third fastest in Team Rhino as well.
And speaking of second fastest, Jer Harris is signed to fight. He just doesn't. His opponent isn't announced yet, so I'm sure you'll hear from us once it is announced. Then obviously Max Lally, we had him on the show, so we won't go over that again. Paddy McCurry is fighting Ghassan Abdenabi. Obviously, Paddy McCurry has been on a tear since coming back from the Ultimate Fighter, finishing opponents left, right, and center. He is fighting Ghassan Abdenabi, is a Dutch fighter. And the only thing with Ghassan is he's never made middleweight before, so I hope there won't be any weight issues. But I think Paddy McCurry, a win here could secure him a middleweight title shot, and I'd be all for it. And a win here could also secure him main event status in Cage Warriors Belfast later on this year, if they do go to Belfast. So I feel like they're coming back to Ireland once more, but I think it's a toss-up between Dublin and Belfast, and depending on how the results go here, I think that's what's going to determine where the next fight night from Cage Warriors on this island will be.
Paddy be looking for a highlight finish, and that signature celebration round the split.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm here for it. Obviously, we have James Webb, who gets to defend his title for the first time ever on Irish soil. James Webb is an honorary Irishman. He is the first pupil of Team KF head coach Chris Fields. I think it's a dream of his to have ever fought on the island of Ireland. And he is going in and he's going to fight John Allen, who is a former UFC vet. He's fought twice in the UFC. I feel like a win here and a finish here from James Webb could stamp that ticket to the UFC. I think he looks ready for it. He looks the best he's ever looked at light heavyweight, and I'm here for Basmo.
Yeah, well, James has looked phenomenal since he's like now training as well with the Tom Aspinall team over in England. So yeah, this is James Webb's time. Like, if he wants to then eventually fight in the UFC or potentially contender series, like, now is the time to prove it.
Yeah, absolutely. And then obviously the main event, James Jimbo Slice Sheehan, he defends his welterweight strap back where he won it against Justin Burlinson. Justin Burlinson, obviously, Dana White's Contender Series fighter, previous fought for the belt against Rhys McKee. We know it takes a lot to get Justin Burlinson out of there, but I believe James Sheehan has no problem getting into bloody wars himself. We've seen it time and time again. I think this one could be fight of the night, and I also believe the winner of this fight could definitely be getting a phone call from the UFC and either getting a Contender Series shot or, you know, getting a fight directly onto the UFC. I think the winner will definitely deserve it. For me, the winner is Jimbo Slice.
What do you think the odds will be in the bookies for this one, man?
I think it could be 50-50. I think, you know what I mean? Like, Burlinson is absolutely no scrub. He probably maybe has a slight experience factor, you know, haven't fought in the UFC. Not that I think that'll make too much of a difference, you know what I mean? But I do think...
No, he didn't actually fight in the Contender Series.
Well, did he not fight in the end? I thought he fought and lost. Oh, well, there's me having it wrong. So
Double check that.
I will double check that now for the Basmo.
I thought he didn't get a license, or
I thought he lost. No, he lost in the Contender Series. Baz, here's me having. Yeah, he lost first round knockout to Johan Lians.
Oh my God,
a left hook. So yeah, unfortunately he did lose. But look, really like both guys. But you know, my loyalties lie with Jimbo Slice.
What, the third fastest man in Team Rhino?
Yeah,
Look,
like you said, he's not a sprinter. But he is a finisher.
I see this going into the championship rounds,
Yeah.
and then it's gonna come down to who is the bigger dog in them. And like these two lads both have that dog in them, so that's why I can see it. It's like being a war the way, as we said before, the way Rhys McKee fought Burlinson for the title. I just see it going that distance and being high paced as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's going to be a massive fight. But speaking of massive welterweight fights, Basmo, on the same night, Ian Machado Gary headlines against Carlos Prates in a welterweight showcase bout. This one will go 5 rounds. Ian Gary taking a fight on short notice. He alluded to this with speaking with Errol Hawani that this fight, he actually got the call while he was in Spain courting an opponent. We saw the picture of him getting rounds in with Ilia Topuria as well. This is a massive fight for Ian Gary. This is a fight that has more risk than reward on it. Carlos Prates is fighting out the Fighting Nerds. They're 19-0 in the UFC at the moment. They are absolutely on fire. One of the best gyms in the world right now. And we've seen the likes of John Silva. We've seen Chao Barhilo. And Carlos Prates as well. Like these guys are on absolute fire at the moment. Ian Gary's taking this fight on short notice. What do you make this fight for Ian, and do you expect him to get the job done?
I honestly do expect Ian to win this fight. I think Ian sees himself as someone who should be in the top 5, and I don't believe Prates is in that top 5. He's obviously on the verge of breaking into the top 10. But when it comes to Ian doesn't mind winning a fight dirty. As in more like he'll just chip away at the rounds, like pick up the rounds and then move on to the next fight. It doesn't bother him to be a showman or anything of the like. As long as he gets to win, he gets to rub it in people's faces, and that's what Ian Machado Gary loves to do. Looking at the backgrounds, I think Ian has the cardio to go 5 rounds. Now, we haven't seen that since he fought in Cage Warriors. But Prates is a well-known lover of tobacco, and
he's also a finisher. He's four wins, 4 finishes in the UFC.
Ross, this is the creme de la creme, bro.
Yeah,
like I just think that Ian will drag this out, and then he wouldn't mind getting on Prates' back, and also like just dragging it out, because Prates, like if you're a smoker in the top 15 of like that's just not going to help. And like that's where Ian is going to. And Ian Machado Gary would not have taken this fight unless he thought he would have won. Because he took the Rackman fight because he knew he was going to get praise for it, and he has. And he's gone on after, like talking as if he's actually won the fight. He's actually got more confidence after that loss than he has of any other fight. So I just think that Ian will win this fight. It's his first ever headline show. He was previously booked to headline against Joaquin Buckley, but Ian Machado Gary on the 26th of April becomes the 3rd ever Irish UFC fighter to headline the show after Conor McGregor and Paddy the Hooligan. So big night for Irish MMA, Ross. We are taking over.
Massive night. And not only that, the following night, we have Cage Gladiator. And we have 2 big pro fights on it. We have Jack Core, who's 2-0. He's fighting Barboza. Obviously, the show is run by Danny Core, so his son will be the main event on the show, which will be a massive fight. Big fan of Jack Core. He's looked really good since turning pro. So we expect him to get his hand raised there. And then we also have a professional catchweight at 73 kilos. We have Yusuf Okakane versus Marco Boyachuk. Obviously, we spoke to Paddy recently, and he was singing Yusuf's praises a lot, saying that he's put in the graft, put in the hard work. So we'll see the fruits of his labor there. And Mario Boychuk is fighting out of Maros Martial Arts. I'm not too sure if Maros Martial Arts has had a pro fighter before, so I'm really excited to see this one. Both guys are going to obviously want to get off to their pro career off to winning ways. So it's going to be an absolute night to remember. If you are up around the area, please do try and get some tickets to go to it. But there are some other brilliant fights on the card that we have. Amateur lightweight title. Kieran Maskey is 6-0, also out of Danny Core's gym, and he is fighting Blaine McGill. Blaine McGill is in the DMs saying that if he wins this, he's the best lightweight in the country, no doubt about it. Also, we have what's turned into a bit of a grudge match. We have Emmett Core fighting Michael Shields. So that should be a whopper fight as well. Those 2 boys love a scrap, and the winner of that could easily announce themselves as the best featherweight in the country as well.
Huge scrap.
Yeah, huge scrap. Michael Shields, obviously the Energized Amateur MMA Fighter of the Year 2024. So, some really big fights on the card. Really looking forward to it, Baz. I think it's going to be a fantastic fight night for the Irish fans. And they also announced on the 3rd of March as well that Keema Carton's fighting Paul Nolan as well. So that should be another scrap to watch out for as well. So I'm here for it. I can't wait to see it. Cage Gladiator. Best of luck on their re-debuting show. It's going to be a night to remember, Basmo.
Yeah, exactly. So, Ross, as you said,
look at that, Basmo. From the grassroots to the absolute pinnacle of the UFC, we are here every week covering it. So if you're not here, make sure to like, share, subscribe. You know what I mean? We are giving you the news, whether it's good news or bad news. We're always bringing you the news, whether you like it or not. Here we are. So that's the crack, Basmo.
Ross, you couldn't have said it any better. Everyone, make sure, if you are new to the channel, make sure to like and subscribe. This weekend, Cage Warriors Dublin, get onto that. You have to. Ian Machado Gary that night. Also, Chris Eubank Jr. is taking on Conor Ben. Scrap not to be missed. Sunday, Cage Gladiator on the Sunday the 27th. And then, as always, we'll be back next week with all the reaction, because myself and Ross will be at Cage Warriors Dublin, Ross, won't we?
Yes, we will. We will see you there. Come up and say hello. We'd love to say hello to you. And we'll be covering the event from start to finish. Thanks a million. Like, share, subscribe. And as always, stay energized.
The Energized Show, up the Irish. It's the face that runs the place, Chaos Curtis. I want to thank the Irish MMA community so much for getting behind me. Yup, the Chaos Cartel.